I'm Isabella. Standing here in the opulent ballroom of the Apex Prime Annual Charity Gala, I'm surrounded by the who's who of the corporate world. The air is thick with the scent of luxury and success, but my mind is transported back to a time when I was cast aside by my own family. A few months ago, I found myself in a situation that would change my life forever. I was sitting at the heavy oak dining table in my parents' house, enjoying a rainy Tuesday evening dinner. My younger sister, Lily, was loudly complaining about the housing market, and her husband, Ethan, a sports agent, was muttering about his clients and cash flow. I was quietly eating my mashed potatoes, mentally reviewing the final legal documents for my corporate buyout. Suddenly, my phone buzzed with an email from the Corporate Human Resources Department at Zenith Prime, my billion-dollar branding agency. The subject line read, "Termination of employment." Little did my family know, this was the final step of my hostile takeover. Lily was quicker than me in grabbing the phone. She shrieked, "Are you kidding me, Isabella? Did you seriously just get fired from your pathetic little job?" My mother, Eleanor, gasped dramatically, and my father, Henry, slammed his fist on the table. Lily then started ranting about her mortgage of $4,800 a month and how she was relying on my year-end bonus. Ethan, with a look of disgust, said, "You have got to be kidding me, Isabella. I'm on the verge of the biggest National Football League draft signing, and I can't deal with your toxic energy." Henry and Eleanor, who had always valued status above all else, decided it was time to take action. They told me that I was unemployed, a financial burden, and that Lily and Ethan needed my room as they were trying to start a family. They gave me 60 minutes to pack my bags and leave. I felt a strange sense of liberation. I went to my room, retrieved my encrypted laptops, legal documents, and financial hardware wallets from the hidden wall safe. As I was packing, Lily barged in and started swiping my expensive skin care products into a black plastic bag, sneering that I didn't need them anymore. In the freezing rain, I walked out of the house with 2 battered suitcases. My family's cruel words echoed in my ears. But just as I thought my situation couldn't get any worse, a sleek black Cadillac Escalade pulled up. The driver said, "Good evening, Miss Isabella. Your private flight is fully prepped and waiting at the executive tarmac." On the plane, I spoke to my lead corporate attorney, Victor. He confirmed that the hostile buyout of Zenith Prime was finalized. For a decade, I had played the long game. I had founded Zenith Prime right out of college, but to avoid my family's greed, I created a corporate labyrinth. I worked as a low-paying assistant in my own company, carefully observing and planning to remove the corrupt board of directors. The board had been embezzling company funds for the past 3 years. My non-disclosure agreement had protected my true ownership. Now, I was the sole undisputed chief executive officer of Zenith Prime. Meanwhile, back in Connecticut, Lily's real estate business was in shambles. Her broker license was on the verge of suspension due to unpaid dues, and Ethan's luxury SUV was about to be repossessed. They were in a financial free fall. Lily received an email from a corporate entity called Horizon Ventures, seeking a property manager for a $26 million beachfront estate in Malibu. She was blinded by greed and fought with a senior broker, Greg, to claim the account. The managing broker finally gave her the lead, warning her not to mess it up. What she didn't know was that Horizon Ventures was one of my subsidiary shell companies, and the estate was my own in Malibu. She bypassed the security lockbox and entered the property illegally, taking photos on the balcony and posting on Instagram, claiming it as her dream home. Ethan, on the other hand, was facing his own professional apocalypse. His star client, Ryan, demanded a top-tier branding strategy from Zenith Prime. When Ethan couldn't secure a meeting, Ryan threatened to fire him. Ethan tried to call Zenith Prime but was completely locked out. My parents, Henry and Eleanor, also got into trouble. They tried to access my old bank account to steal funds, thinking they still had access. But my financial security network detected the breach. I had Victor draft a severe cease and desist order, which was hand-delivered to their front door. Lily flew to Malibu, thinking she was on a high-stakes business trip. She entered my house, completely unaware that I was watching her every move through the security cameras. By late afternoon, my peaceful sanctuary had turned into a chaotic party. They were drinking my $12,000 wine and acting like they owned the place. I called Victor and told him it was time to initiate a formal raid. The next morning, the police and my private security team arrived at the estate. When my family saw me standing with the police, they were in shock. Lily tried to frame me as a stalker, but I presented the legal documents proving my ownership. Lily was arrested for felony breaking and entering, criminal trespassing, and grand theft. Ethan was also taken into custody. My parents were left in a state of despair. A few months later, at the Zenith Prime Charity Gala, I was about to make my official debut as the CEO. Near the service entrance, I saw Ethan. He looked absolutely terrible, wearing a cheap rented tuxedo. He had lost everything after Lily's arrest and the subsequent legal troubles. He tried to beg me for a job, blaming Lily for everything. He said he didn't know I was the CEO of Zenith Prime. I told him that Zenith Prime was launching a new sports partnership division, but instead of offering him a job, I introduced him to Max, the most successful sports agent on the East Coast and Ethan's bitter rival. Max coldly rejected Ethan, shattering his last shred of hope. Back in Connecticut, my parents were facing foreclosure on their house. Ethan had taken out a $420,000 secondary mortgage against the house's equity without their full knowledge. When the bank representative came to serve the foreclosure notice, my parents were in disbelief. They tried to negotiate with the private equity firm, Vanguard Investments, which had bought their debt. But when they walked into the boardroom, they were shocked to see me. I told them that Vanguard Investments was a subsidiary of Zenith Prime, and I was their creditor. I showed them the 2 battered suitcases they had given me when they threw me out. I said, "You told me I needed tough love. Well, here's your philosophy returned." I gave them 60 minutes to pack their things and leave. As I watched them crumble, I felt a sense of closure. I had finally broken free from the toxic grasp of my family and emerged victorious in my empire. I stepped into the elevator, leaving behind the shattered remains of my past and looking forward to a future of endless possibilities.